Like every nation has got their stuff, and Hungary,
It
we
is.
don't have anything. What was it? Yesterday I started to watch the Taylor, uh, Tinker.
Started it, but watched like 10 minutes for some reason.
Yeah, but it's just interesting to watch. Well, since it's Cold War and and what is it? Cold War and the actors are, they're proper.
Yeah.
So since we are playing Cold War and it's I'm talking about Gary Oldman, Mark Strong, it's so on. It just goes like so many of them. So it's just worth to watch it. But it starts with Hungary, right? You seen that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they go to Hungary and and there's that Hungarian actor. Like it starts with John Hurt. It starts with John Hurt, and after John Hurt, Mark Strong goes to Hungary and meets this Hungarian actor who actually sort of looks like John Hurt. It's a bit confusing at first. I don't know what's his name.
So strange. Both John Hurt and Mark Strong were in. Um,
John Hurt as well.
yeah, the old man. Old. That
Yeah.
was John or William Hurt. Wait, which one is John Hurt?
William Hurt. No, no, no. John Hurt is the guy who had the stories series. What was when he was telling stories?
The dead
Who
one.
was in the 1984?
Uh,
Why would you know that? Like John Hurt. I don't know what is John Hurt in.
he,
Hold. So they talk in Hungarian. It's weird, and then Mark Strong does a few lines, surprisingly, and then his last sentence is very bad. It's very bad. It's just very badly said, and then and then he. Why did he start to talk about this?
Cold War. Cold War. You watched it?
Um,
Cold War. It's an interesting movie. Why
no, it's
didn't I see it?
interesting because
Why didn't I see it?
no, it's the Hungary part. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And they talk about with Hungarians, and they mention Budapest. And if it comes to any other nation stuff, they don't translate even the street in the name of the street. They don't translate so many things because yeah, it's Spanish, it's French, whatever. It's just that's how it is. So they don't even bother translating the littlest things, even the and if it comes to Hungarian, they just don't bother. Like you never hear anyone saying Utsa because they translate everything to street. Just for
Yeah.
example. And when they say Budapest, they say even in that they say Budapest a few times and they say Budapest. And I used to say I say Budapest and at some point maybe a few months ago I realized that actually I don't need to say Budapest, it's actually Budapest. Like that's so like why would you actually translate the pronunciation of that, right?
Ridiculous thing.
and and they keep saying Budapest, Budapest. So they don't even bother, like the littlest thing, like the capital. How do you pronounce the capital? So it's just weird that I don't know. It's just weird. No, nothing else. It's not that I'm upset about. It's just weird that we respect every other languages, but if it comes to Hungarian, people give no shit. And I seen mostly Marvel stuff, and I watched it. And when uh, the Arrow guy and Scarlett Johansson is in the spaceship going to Mordir, whatever, and they go like, oh, it's quite far away from Budapest, right?
Yeah.
And like wow, why? Never mind.
But you know that's one of the first thing when they first meet in the first Avengers stuff, that like one of the first thing they say to each other, like, oh, you know, it's not like Budapest.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I watched the end game, like I didn't finish it, but I still watched it. And either the same day or the next day, I started to watch Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and it gets Hungarian again. I was like, are you fucking serious? So it's like Hungarian feels like it's everywhere, but no one respects their tradition or pronunciation or
so
anything.
they adopted, and Hungarian. We just had this conversation with Nera. Hungarian is such an adaptory language that we are Chinese coming here. We adopted the whole thing, everything, culture, language of everything of Europe from all around. So
What
we
do you
are.
mean?
That Hungary is a mixture of. That's why we don't have gender, because we kept just integrated the good stuff, what made sense from everywhere. You know
Yeah, that's quite an
how many
idea.
Spanish and Basque words we find that in Hungarian? It's like what? That's it's
Yeah, but the issue we are talking about right now is that other people, other cultures don't respect Hungarian culture.
actually
That's not how Hungarians are adaptive.
they do
Because
to us what we do to everything.
no, Hungarians, you just said they adapt, and others they don't. They just
So adapt, it means change, and so take over and change and modify stuff.
no use their uh or change all their alien
Repurpose.
stuff to theirs. I don't know. That's quite
Integrates.
weird.
But yeah, we are so.
To me, it's very much respect that like they don't translate things. I don't know, historical names. Wait, the Hungarians do that too. They translate everything like that, and they even translate the names. So Hungarians are equal to other nations, as other nations are to Hungarians.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence? And if it's
Uh,
not a coincidence, which way is it a payback? And so others are disrespectful
we
to
came
Hungarians.
for strange extract of all good European stuff for the last 1,000 years. So
What?
we are doing
Uh, I
search.
still don't know. Still don't know. Just because something existed, you don't know when it started to affect others and when it started to have counter effect. So you don't know if just because for 1,000 years we've been around, we've been actually doing this game, and just because we've been doing this game, even if for 1,000 years, it doesn't mean that other nations understood that we've been playing this game.
But certainly we did it first. I mean, this whole integrating stuff.
But that's what everyone does. I think everyone translates it to theirs. Like
But we are ruthless about
if
it.
it's a city languages, it just I think it's sort of natural. Like uh, we had a long conversation about this with Kizzy. I may have mentioned it to you that about the language that I don't speak Hungarian with Hungarians. Did I mention it to you?
I don't know.
I don't speak Hungarian with Hungarians, and she was quite against me that I should because for them it feels natural to speak Hungarian with Hungarians.
Alright. That's why you should.
So that's how it works. Like that's how it's natural it is. If it's your own nation, you speak their language, like you speak your language, but theirs, yours. And but if it comes to a mixed environment like London, obviously, then it applies to different rules. So you speak whatever you choose what to speak, right? Yes, and then we choose something.
Yeah.
And they expect us to choose Hungarian because it's more comfortable for them. And they don't even consider me, it's more comfortable for us to speak English. So it's always selfish decision. There was a long conversation right there, and yeah, it's a very because straight away everyone assumes that you just want to speak English because you want to feel better than them.
Yeah. Wanna be a dick about talking.
Oh, but once you live in London, you understand that it's once you meet someone, there's a once you establish a agreement that what languages do you speak the best. So if you meet someone who speaks Spanish only, and you speak a little Spanish, and they speak Spanish only, then you're gonna try your Spanish because otherwise it's not gonna work, right?
Yeah.
You go through these things like in other countries you wouldn't go through, and especially in Hungary when in Hungary you don't have any other mixes, so it's just you don't have these rules, this rule system, how it goes. So just because they don't understand, it doesn't mean that the rules don't apply to them. So if I go like, sorry, I don't speak Hungarian, like they should go like, yeah, I get that, then, let's see was if I can speak English, right? But no, it should be automatic. And I don't think it should be. So I think it's stupidity if you, oh, it's too complex to call it like that. Anyways, respect to people and like once it comes to differences, people are always gonna get upset. But you don't respect my culture as much as I respect yours, and if I respect yours, then probably you're not gonna respect mine as much as I do yours. So doesn't this sound like hate mongering?
I don't know.
A lot of reasons to find hate, but it's hate mongering anymore.
Bom neki.
Oh,
Telibe még.
nice.